I'm so happy that you can join me today. Thank you all so much for being here. I'm Kylie, otherwise known as Paper Sweetpea, and I'm an independent creative memories advisor from here in Australia. Today is another fun Scrap with Us, where I am collaborating with Lauren Hines, who is Craft Some Joy from the USA, and it is our Croptoberfest 2022 edition. We're each going to be creating a layout for you all today featuring the Croptoberfest products from Creative Memories. So once you finish watching my video, be sure to head over to Lauren's YouTube channel and check out the beautiful layout that she's created for you all. I will be linking her YouTube channel below this video for you. Something else exciting that I would love to share with you all first before I start creating is I have put together another ultimate guide for Croptoberfest 2022, which is filled with even more layouts for you to be able to create. My booklet is easy to follow with step-by-step instructions and colour photos for you all to follow. It features 4 layouts, 2 single page, a double page and an interactive layout, as well as a bonus project for you to create. I've also designed some cut files that will coordinate with the Croptoberfest collection, and I'm going to include these with the sale of my booklet. Once you purchase my ebook from my website, you will be able to download a zipped folder. You'll then need to unzip that folder and extract all files in order to be able to access them, and then you can save them to your computer or print out your booklet. Lauren has also compiled a wonderful book for you all and designed her own cut files and print and cut elements, and you will be able to purchase her book from her website, which I will also link below this video. But for now, I'm going to start creating. I'm actually going to be making one of the layouts from my ebook, and I hope you can follow along. Now I am here live with you, so let's keep the chat box rolling and let's get creating. I've got just a few tools here on my desk and supplies that I'm going to work with to create the layout that I've designed. I have with me the Creative Memories circle cutter. Now I'm going to be honest with you, when this tool was first released, I was probably a little scared of it, and I know that sounds super silly to you all. It's just, I love the custom cutting templates and blades. You all know that. I work with them all the time. And I kind of thought, why do we need a circle cutter, when we've got our fabulous custom cutting templates? And it wasn't until I bought the circle cutter and realized all the wonderful things that you can create with it, and you realize that both products, both tools have their differences for however you want to create with them. And I do work with both, and I love my circle cutter now. So working with that today, I also have 2 of my most favorite punches, the 5-leaf punch as well as the spring leaf punch. And I've also got the Croptoberfest 2022 embellishments. I loved the colour palette and the theme this year. It's very sweet. I've got the stickers, which are in the project recipe kit, of course. And to create my page today, you're going to need 2 sheets of cardstock. One will be to cut some circles from and use as a frame for the layout. The other will be to mat your photos. I've chosen to work with cardstock to mat the photos just so that we can save paper. We're all about conserving as much paper as we can. You're going to need 1 full sheet of designer paper, and I'm working with this light blue paper that has this beautiful sort of a stitched print in the background. And then I'm also bringing in some other pieces of paper. I've got just different colors and patterns here. And you can see I'm just working with scraps. I'll be using my leaf punches to punch from these. So all of the papers that I'm working with today are either from the project recipe kit or the accessory paper pack. I'll just lift these out of the way. We're going to start working with our navy blue cardstock to cut some circles. Now I'm just going to align that on my cutting mat. And I'm just going to bring in a ruler and pencil, and I've got my cardstock perfectly lined up to the markings there on my cutting mat, and I just want to add just a ruled line just through the center of my page. Okay, so I'll bring in my circle cutter. When you undo this white dial here on the top dome, that allows us to slide the measurement guide along. And the circle cutter has both inches and centimeters on both sides. I'm going to be working with inches today. And when you look at the measurements, each little marking here in the white inch marking goes up by 0.2 of an inch. So as example, you've got 6 inches, 6.2, 6.4, 6.6, 6.8, and it'll go to 7 inches as an example. I'm going to be cutting a series of rings today, and effectively we need to go down by 0.4 of an inch. So every 2 increment marking on the side of our circle cutter. This here is our blade, and it won't cut until you press down a little on this dial and press the white button in. So it's a very safe tool to use. You can't cut yourself with it. You can also add a pencil to your circle cutter and draw circles as well. Now I just want to show you on the side of these plastic domes here, you've got a black marking, and on this side as well. We're going to use these to align our circle cutter, and I also like to use this little ridge line on the side of it to be able to try and get it as centered as I can. Not that it's too critical for this project today, but we do want to have it fairly well centered. So I'm just going to wind my dial out, and the first measurement that we're going to cut to is 10.6 inches. So I'm going to bring in my circle cutter, and I'm going to align the black marking at the top here to my pencil line, as well as the one on the bottom here. And if I move so that I've got this nodule to the side fairly well centered, then I know that I'm in a good spot to be able to start cutting my circle. Now what you can do if you'd like to check is just push down on your dome, and remember that this blade isn't going to start cutting until you press down and push in the white button. So to make sure you're not going to run off your page anywhere, you can spin that circle cutter just to make sure you're not going to come off the side of the paper, to ensure that you have got it fairly well in the center. So when you're happy, I'm going to press down on this center dial with my left hand and just gently press down on this smaller one and press that white button in. And I'm going to make my first cut. Now I want to keep my hand pressing down on this center dial because I want to keep my circle trimmer in place. And I'm just going to unscrew that white dial, and I'm going to wind back my measurements to 10.2 inches. Okay, so we started at 10.6. Our second cut is going to be 10.2. So we've gone down 0.4 of an inch, or 2 white line markings to keep it nice and simple for you. Keep my hand on that dial and unscrew it again, and I'm going to move down to 9.8 inches. Tighten that up again, and we'll make our third cut. I hope you're not going to get a cramp in your hand like I'm getting. Not that I'm applying too much pressure down onto that dial, but you want to make sure that it's held well in place. Okay, so we're going to make our fourth cut at 9.4 inches. And my paper's spinning a little bit, but that's okay, that doesn't matter, as long as that center dial is held in place. And our final cut will be neatly at 9 inches. I'm going to lift that outer frame away, and you want to hang on to this because this is going to be the frame for our layout. We can lift away that center circle, and this can be used for matting photos or for another scrapbooking layout, so certainly keep the center. And what we're left with is 4 rings for our layout. And you can see how easy and how neatly that little circle cutter has been able to cut them out for us. So we can set these to the side. All right, so I've brought back in my cardstock frame, and we need to just trim a little bit off our light blue paper. And I really only want a very, very small edge of the navy blue cardstock showing. I'm actually only going to trim off 1/4 inch from one side and 1/4 inch off the top edge of my light blue paper, which will leave us with just a very small amount of the cardstock showing as a frame. But it's just about breaking up the colour for the layout. So that just gives us a lovely small edge frame there. And when you're happy with where that's in position, you can come in with your repositionable tape and begin to adhere that into place. All the way around. Like so. So that gives us our background paper all prepared. Okay, so it's time to bring our rings in, and this is where we're going to start creating our wreath. Now, while I want to have it fairly well centered, I also want to be able to see each individual ring. So a lot of it will sort of get covered with the leaves and so forth, but just work your rings around your page until you are happy with the position that they are in. And I'm fairly happy with how they're sitting there. And basically what I'm going to do, look, if you try and lift up each ring and stick it down in place, you'll just drive yourself mad in, you know, trying to get it to sit how you want it to look. I'm actually going to cheat, and I'm bringing in my tape chips. And what I'm going to do, because the design of the page will feature, you know, my title and some leaves going around this corner, and I'm going to add, for a bit of balance, some more leaves up the top here. So I know that I can come in with my tape chips, and I'm going to put a tape chip there at, say, we'll call that 2 o'clock, if you're thinking of it as a clock face. And I'm going to pop some more tape chips down here at 8 o'clock, I guess you could say. And that's going to anchor our rings into place, because I'm going to work with the punched leaves that we're going to be creating. They're going to be what's going to hold our wreath in place ultimately. So these little tape chips will just anchor them. If you don't have your tape chips, you can still just use a little bit of your repositionable tape or your regular tape runner. That's fine too, because it will all get covered over. But I just love working with my little tape chips. So with our rings held in place, we can now talk photos. And I've already printed mine and cut them down and added the photo mats too. The exact sizes for these are all in my ebook, but basically I've got a 5 by 3.5 photo, as well as 2 2 3/4 inch photos. I never printed these photos smaller. They were actually like distance shots of the girls, so I've cut them down. And because their little beanies had the lovely burgundy tone, I wanted to enhance the colours of the photo. So I've used the crimson cardstock from the Cardstock sampler pack. And basically I would just want to have them sitting through the centre of my wreath, and then I can add some of the punched leaves, you know, little clusters and a title around the base of the photos there. I'm not going to adhere them into place just yet, because I want to work on punching our leaves out first, and then we can start building our layers. So we can set this aside just for now. I can bring back in all of those offcuts of paper that I showed you at the start of my video, and basically all we need to do is bring in both of our punches here, And I'm just going to punch a heap of leaves from all of these little offcuts. And I'm not quite sure how many I'm going to need, but I'm just going to punch a heap and see how we go. We can always punch more if we need more. Okay, so now that I've got lots and lots of leaves here all punched, we can start putting them into place. And again, I'm just going to roughly position my photos to where I think I want them to be. And we can just start adhering our leaves into place. And we're just going to use, again, some repositionable tape. And this is where, as I was saying, you're going to find that this is what will be holding your wreath more down into place. As we stick the leaves over it, obviously it's going to be holding down those rings. I'll just change out my tape there. And I'm just basically going to be mixing up those colours, just alternating them here and there around the rings. You can see just how many leaves I've punched. I went quite nuts, literally. And we'll be able to slide those photos into place once you're happy with the positioning of everything. But I'm just going to make my way around down that side part of the ring, the wreath. I'm just alternating colours. As we go around. Okay, so I've just put a basic line of leaves there around the base of my wreath, and I think I'm quite happy now to come in and adhere my photos into place. So again, I'm just going to use a little bit of my repositionable tape and just tuck it into where I had them sitting before. I can let the leaves overlap my photo just that little bit. And when I'm happy with where my photos are positioned, then I can come in with some more leaves on that other side as well. So I'm going to adhere that top photo there. And our second little photo. Like so. And then we can come in and just begin adding a few leaves now to that opposite corner that we began with. You can see how nicely that's all building in layers and coming together. Covering over those little tape chips now. You can peel off the backing for that if you wish. Okay, so I don't want to overload and add too many more leaves in just for now until we can add a title to our page. Now, as I mentioned at the start of my video, I have designed some cut file titles and cut file elements that will coordinate with the Croptoberfest supplies. I appreciate not everybody has a Cricut or Silhouette or likes to work with cut files, and that's fine. That's where we can come in with our Croptoberfest stickers and our embellishments. If you'd like to create a large title, you could of course use any of the ABC 123 stickers that Creative Memories produce. That would look lovely beneath the photos. And then of course you've got these gorgeous little die cuts that you can add in under your photos. You've got the beautiful little tree stump sticker as well. You could tuck in behind your squirrel. So that is one option for embellishing the wreath. I'm going to work with my cut files for today though. For those of you who do like to work with cut files, you can see how that's going to look on the wreath as well. And I've got here the cute little acorns and leaves. And I've just gone in and backed that with some of the papers and cardstock. I've added some foam squares because of course I want to use foam squares to add that to my page. And then I'm going to work with the Grateful title, and I've just created some offsets for that so that it really stands out on my page. I've cut that from the bronze shimmer cardstock, and I'd like to add that just in beneath my photos there, and I can add some more leaves in behind. So I've got my foam squares, and I'm just going to add that to my title as well. I've already got it on my cut file embellishment there. And if you're working with, if you don't work with cut files, you can still add your foam squares to your little squirrels or however you would like to embellish this little corner. It'll just give that nice dimension to your page. So I'm not going to stick those down just yet because I still want to add just a few more leaves poking out behind the title. So I've just got it sitting there in place, and then I can work with just adding a few extra leaves for balance. And when I'm happy with that, then I will stick that down. I might add a little dark green leaf. Lay it over the top. So I can peel those backing squares from the foam tape. And add that over the top, and the same for my little Grateful title. Can never have enough foam squares, I think. I love them. Okay. Lovely. And if you see any little areas that you want to, you know, just to tuck in some more leaves, you can, of course. That those rings are certainly well stuck down now to our page, as you can see. Just make sure I've got my title nice and straight. All right. And I might come in and just add a few little extras. I love these little mushrooms. Might use a foam square on that as well. Like so. And I think I'll add a little sticker subtitle here below my Grateful. And now with our little cluster to the opposite side here, I could add this cute little moth to the top there, and we'll lay that with foam as well. Just to our opposite corner. So I'm pretty happy with the overall balance of my wreath, and I think this little area here below this smaller photo would be perfect for adding your journaling to with a journaling pen. I'm not one that really likes my handwriting too much, so I actually like to add my journaling in little strips. I just open up a Word document and type out my journaling, and then I print it on photo-safe paper, and then I've just cut it down into little strips, and I'm actually going to add mine like so. So I'm just going to come in with some repositionable tape and start sticking these down. It's just, for me, that's the aesthetic I like on my layouts with my journaling. Like so. And then I might just finish off just adding in a few of these little sweet acorns. Add another one there to the bottom. And again, I've just used my foam squares. Add this other little one to the bottom here. So that's completed my wreath design with the Croptoberfest 2022 products. And even though there's lots of intricate little details with the layout, it really hasn't taken up a lot of my supplies. I think this would be a really fun layout too to have as a title page for one of your albums, or you could even create a mirror reverse page to have as a 2-page design. So lots of different options there. So there we have it, friends. We've already completed one layout from my ebook instructional guide. I really hope you've enjoyed watching me scrapbook today and following along. Don't forget, my ebook is now available for purchase from my individual website, as is Lauren's ebook from her website. And if you're interested in any of the products you've seen me working with today, you can find everything linked below this video. But for now, take care. Thank you for joining me, and we will see you next time. Bye.